Good evening and welcome to Mike's Harder After Hours. I'm Colton.
I'm Joe. And tonight we have a special guest, at least for a moment. My beautiful mother, Bonnie.
Hello. Hello.
Is her volume good enough?
I'll turn it up. I can always adjust it. So, you were saying back when you used to work over in Archbold.
I used to work at Bill Jack's, and there was this lady that worked in the fabrication department. She was Latin, Greek, something. She was dark complected. She's a beautiful girl. Bigger.
Got the olive skin tone.
Yeah. Big build, but proportionate. She was a beautiful girl. And one of the Mexican guys in my department, we went out to smoke one day, and he's like, "Oh, I would crawl a mile on my elbows to eat a peanut out of her turd."
I don't have that kind of stamina.
He was serious. And this guy had like 9 kids, so I'm pretty sure he was.
I mean, I'd have done some horrendous things to take that woman out on a date, but I don't know that I have the stamina for that. I know my body's limits, and I don't think that it's up there.
I think he probably would have done it through a field of broken glass too.
Isn't there if you go down to Mexico, you're supposed to walk on your knees, and it's for a couple of miles to a church? Isn't that in Mexico?
I've never heard it, but Ma, you say yes?
Yeah, there is. It's to show your faith.
Oh, okay.
Something, and it's walking on your knees, and it's not cobblestones. It's like sharp rocks. It's not friendly.
Oh, I've never heard of it. Huh.
I don't know what
it's because
the
you
church
haven't watched
is,
all the Fast and the Furious movies. Or Breaking Bad.
You know what makes me mad about Fast and Furious?
What?
They never stop for gas.
They don't have to. They're fast and they're fucking furious. Speaking of, I was watching a Cat Williams video the other day, and he was talking about Ludacris in the Fast and the Furious movies. He has a deal, I guess, according to Cat Williams, for $10 million a movie for 20 movies. They're on 10.
There's
Wow.
going to be more.
According to Cat Williams, there's going to be 10 more. And I can't fucking wait.
I'm done.
Dude.
I already stopped watching.
It's been my favorite.
Stopped
It's been my
watching.
favorite for years, ever since I was a kid. I can't stop watching. They do some crazy shit, but unless they completely bastardize it and they start doing boats or some dumb shit, I don't think I can stop watching.
You don't like fast boats?
I've never been on a fast boat.
I don't
know
like-
that I've ever been on any kind of a boat other than a canoe.
I don't like boats. And when I had my shop out west, I had a couple of customers that had me building carburetors and putting cams in their speedboats, and they'd make me go out on Lake Lowell. And they're like, "Well, we're on land, we're only doing 40 miles an hour." And I'm like,
Feels like 80.
in the water, we're doing 80 miles an hour, and we're hitting every damn bump. This is not fun. I don't know why you guys think this is a good time.
Can you swim?
Yes, I cannot tread water.
So if you're moving, you're like a shark.
Yes.
Okay.
I cannot stay in one spot.
Okay.
I can doggy paddle.
So once you get tired,
Oh, I'm done.
You're fucked.
Yeah. I cannot tread water, and I sink.
You don't have enough body fat. Do not have that problem.
I look down, and
I don't know. He's getting a little prego. He might be able to now.
my pee-pee's 2 inches shorter than it was 10 years ago.
You just can only see 2 inches less of it.
That's what I'm saying. I got a shadow caster of a belly right now.
Man, I really want to teach you how to tread water.
Good luck. Good luck. I took swimming lessons when I was a kid. You know what they did?
Threw you in the water?
They taught me how to use a paddleboard.
You know, Joe, maybe that is the reason you get headaches, is because you have a mental block from not being able to tread
Is that
water.
what you think?
That's what I think. That's my
yeah.
professional medical opinion that I don't get paid very much for.
Did we Google it first, or you just that's what you think?
No, that's just what I think. I'm not one of those quacks that Googles symptoms. Which is funny because my doctor, anytime I go in there with a problem, I went in there because of my eyes with the dark circles. He ran a gambit of tests. Whole slew of tests. Found nothing wrong with me. Told me I'm healthier than fucking ever. I could lose some weight, but other than that, I have nothing medically wrong with me. I'm like, cool. So what else could it be? I don't know. Pulls out his phone. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm Googling it. I'm like, motherfucker. I come here to you because you went to medical school. I could fucking sit at home and do that and not pay you.
Right. All right, Ma. We ask everybody when they come on, what do you do for a living and what do you like to do?
I clean houses, and I clean at a factory in Napoleon for a living. That's what I do for a living. And what I like to do, sleep.
Well, that is, you know.
I like to crochet. I love to read.
Oh God,
I like to watch movies.
Smut, are you?
No, I don't. I don't read no.
Okay.
The Harlequin romance.
Not anymore. In high school, I would devour them like one a day.
No wonder
They
I
were-
was born early.
Yeah, there could be something to that. But I like to read. I like to read mysteries. Right now, I'm listening to audiobooks by Jenna Devanovich. She's funny.
Jenna
She's
Devanovich.
funny.
I feel like that's the name I'd want to yell. Jenna Devanovich. It just rolls off the tongue.
She's a good writer. Jennifer Crusie is my favorite writer, but
Who?
Jennifer Crusie. She's an Ohio writer, and she used to teach at Ohio State. She taught women's lit down at Ohio State.
You got to say the Ohio State.
The Ohio
They get
State.
mad if you don't say the
Ohio State. But she's my favorite, and I actually have her on my Facebook page.
Huh.
She's the actual author is on my Facebook page. She's currently writing another trilogy,
Yeah.
a 3-book arc, and I have the last 3-book arc that she wrote that is really funny, really funny. She makes everything a lot of fun.
Have you ever had an interaction with a famous person?
I got to meet J.R. Simplot once.
In my brain, that's a famous
I
person.
don't
Yes.
even know who the hell that is.
J.R. Simplot is the person behind all of the French fries in McDonald's.
Really?
Yes.
How did I not know that? I've read
tra-
Fast Food Nation like 4 times.
The Treasure Valley smells so bad when they're making McDonald's French fries because they cold soak them in oil, and shit stinks so bad.
He was an innovator ahead of his time, because where the Simplot factory is, everything that comes away from the Simplot factory, all of the waste, the food waste, gets fed to cattle, so it's not wasted. All of the onion skins and potato skins and all of that stuff gets fed to cattle. And so all around the factory there are feedlots for cattle. So it just smells like the barn all the way around this big, huge factory. I know, because we used to live a mile or 2 from there.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Simplot family got very, very wealthy during the Depression, the Great Depression. They had money, and farmers were losing their ranches, their farms. So JR would come in and say, "Hey, I'll pay off your mortgage, and you work for me. You do the same thing you're doing now, but you work for me." So he bought up a buttload of land. that's how he became really wealthy. Because once the Depression was over and he owned all that land and he had all these farmers working for him, now he's big. So
Man, it's so hard to even think about doing anything in this day and age.
I don't think so. I think the American dream is still alive. I think that that could still be done. You just need to be prepared for it. You have to save. You have to be ready for something like that. When you can buy properties for pennies on the dollar, people are being foreclosed on. He would go to the bank and be like, "I know they owe $20,000 on it. I'll give you 15. You clear the note." The bank was more than willing and happily took 15 on a $20,000 note.
Well, yeah, because otherwise they're not going to get crap out of it.
Yeah, because if it went to auction, I mean...
Yeah, somebody's going to get it for $5,000.
Yep. So he would go in and say, "Hey, I'll pay off your property. You just work for me. You can run the fields. This is your house, but you work for me." It's actually a really interesting story about how he did all that.
Yeah, and I guess you can go right on a lot of counties' websites and see who's getting foreclosed on too.
Yeah.
If you wanted to buy a bunch of property.
Well, I bought this house out of foreclosure. Thankfully, it worked out for me. I mean, almost didn't. I mean, it was close, but yeah, got it cheap, got it super cheap compared to what was owed on it. But the bank just wanted out. Otherwise, they'd had to foreclose, and it would have got sold on the steps of the courthouse.
I don't want you to get robbed or anything, but I wonder if when Harris gets elected and the government goes down, if you'll be able to trade all your booze and just not owe anything on the house.
Yeah. If the economy goes to shit and the banking infrastructure falls apart, I won't owe anything on it anyway, because the records will all be gone. And I'll still have my booze.
Sounds like a win-win.
I like a 360 win. Y'all know what today is?
A week and a day before my birthday.
Today is August 21st.
Sorry, a week and 2 days.
Today is the 32nd anniversary of Ruby Ridge.
32 years ago?
32 years ago.
Wow, how time flies.
Yep, 32 years ago, they swarmed in on Ruby Ridge, shot Randy Weaver's wife,
It was
his
6
friend,
years before I was
his
even
son.
born.
Huh?
That was 6 years before I was even born.
Jesus.
You're such a puppy. You're such a puppy.
Yeah, it was the most egregious attack on American citizens by the federal government in world history until today, 32 years ago. And then, just a year later, they, burned down Waco.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I learned so much listening to you
Why is that?
because all of this stuff went over my head.
I
I
remember.
remembered Ruby Ridge and I remember Waco, but I don't know all of the facts and stuff that you do
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I remember even in my teen years. I remember seeing the evening news when they've got this guy up on top of a mountain in Idaho, and they got MRAPs, they got tanks, they got helicopters. I mean, they went full on military mode on one man, his friend, and his wife and kids. What really is messed up about that whole story is, so Randy Weaver and his wife Vicky moved from Illinois to Ruby Ridge to Boundary County, Idaho. They built a small cabin on top of a mountain in Boundary County. That area, Coeur d'Alene area, at the time, was the Aryan Nation's capital of the United States. Randy Weaver and his family were not white supremacists. They were not Aryan Nation. But they held strong Christian values, which the Aryan Nation at the time also sort of held. So they went to outings at the Aryan Nation's compound They went to outings. They went to different meetings and stuff, just to congregate and have and associate with people. And in that group, there was an FBI informant and an undercover FBI agent. They convinced Randy Weaver to saw off some shotguns. And when they confronted him with charges, they told him they would drop all the charges if he became an informant. And he said, fuck you. Hell no. I'm not doing that. So they charged him. And not only did they charge him, they made up this long history of him being a bank robber. Oh, yeah, they made up this long list of, we believe you are a long-time bank robber, you're a dangerous person. Grand jury indicted him. Then they sent him a notice to appear in court with the wrong damn date on it. So when he didn't show up for court, they put out an arrest warrant. And when they put out an arrest warrant, he got stopped. They said, you have to go to jail because you didn't show up to court. Well, he went and he was released on OR. And when he realized what was going on, he was like, no, you're going to have to come up here and get me. So that's when the federal government sent in all the MRAPs and the Apache helicopters and all these sniper teams and shit to go up on the mountain and get him.
Did they ever drill down and find out who the one person was behind it?
Yes, but Janet Reno can't be named.
I don't even know who Janet Reno is.
At the time, she was, shit. I'm probably wrong.
Drunk a lot.
I'm drunk a lot, so I'm wrong a lot. It's, I believe she was the head of the ATF. But, and I am probably wrong on that one. But she conducted the whole operation. And it was like day 4 or 5 of the siege. They sent 6 I'll call them snipers, ghillie guys. They sent 6 people up the mountain to try to figure out his patterns to see when they could arrest him. They wanted to ambush him and arrest him. And in order to figure out how the dogs would react, they started throwing rocks up toward the cabin. Well, they didn't have a lot of meat. They hunted for all their stuff. Hunt and gather is all they did. So when the dogs started to alert, Randy, his son, and his friend, Mr. Harris, they all ran out of the cabin with rifles. The dogs took off out into the woods. One of the dogs got close enough to an ATF agent. The guy shot the dog. When the guy shot the dog, the kid shot the ATF agent. And then they killed his son. And then another sniper shoots at Harris and shoots at Randy Weaver. And as they're going back into the cabin, Vicky Weaver's standing at the door holding their infant daughter. And the sniper shoots her in the head and kills her. So they spent days with Vicky Weaver laying on the kitchen floor decomposing because they couldn't come out. They knew if they left the house, they were going to be shot. Yeah. Up until then, that had never happened.
Right.
And
Not by
then-
the government, anyway.
Right, not by the government.
Supposedly. Not by the government.
Yeah.
Other legal entities had done stuff like that beforehand, but not to the extent that they did it at Ruby Ridge.
I think they had 3 different agencies on the scene, I think. Again, I'm drunk a lot, so I'm wrong a lot. I think they had 3 different 3-letter agencies at that scene. But there were so many people at the base of the mountain protesting and trying to block the military. The military had an actual entire base They had a helipad. They had full. It looked like MASH. It did. It looked like MASH. They had full military
Friggin'
tents.
Joe Pesci.
Huh?
Friggin' Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci? Wasn't Joe Pesci in MASH?
No. Not even.
Who am I thinking of?
Well, the Jamie Farr Toledo Classic. Jamie Farr was in it.
Alan Alda was in MASH.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you had Hawkeye. You had Charles Emerson Winchester the
Dude,
Third.
why did I think Joe Pesci was in MASH?
Fuck, I don't know. Wow.
Lethal Weapon, yes, but MASH, no.
I've never seen Lethal Weapon.
You poor baby.
Oh, Janet Reno was the Attorney General.
Yes. All right. Thank you. I knew.
I figure I'll fact check you so the listeners don't have to.
I knew she was something stupid power. But yeah, she was also in charge of Waco, which was another colossal fuck up. I remember watching that shit as a teenager on the news. Like, holy shit, they're really gonna kill this guy because of his religious beliefs? What the fuck?
They do it all the time.
They claimed it was because he was diddling little kids and shit, but his original warrant was for illegal firearms, which they never found. They claim they found full auto stuff, but the records were destroyed, the guns were destroyed, so there's no way to really prove it. Kind of like, when Oklahoma City happened and Hillary Clinton was supposed to be indicted for her bullshit, and all the records were held in Oklahoma City, and that office just happened to be destroyed. And when 9/11 happened, they couldn't find $6 billion, and the only part of the building that was hit by a quote-unquote plane was the accounting office that was under construction, so they couldn't find any records after that happened.
Well, jet fuel also can't melt steel beams. Just for the record. It's my professional, not opinion, because it's not an opinion, my professional...
knowledge.
Yeah. There's a word I'm trying to think of, but I've been up for fucking 34 hours. I don't even know.
Declaration?
Sure.
Let's call it
my
declaration.
professional declaration. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, my professional declaration is that our government wants to bend us all over and fuck us in the ass, whisper sweet nothings into our ears.
They aren't even
all
whispering
lies.
sweet nothings anymore.
I know, it's all lies.
They're just pulling the curtain to the side, having their way, and then pushing us on to the next.
Never mind the little man behind the curtain. Never
Oh,
mind.
it's not little. They're taking it.
Oh, and another thing that happened today in history. Today is Jared's birthday. Our buddy that donated these awesome ass mic stands.
Tommy Wee.
Tommy Wee.
Happy birthday to Tommy Wee.
Yeah.
Did he ever say anything to you about that?
I don't know that he even listens anymore, but no.
Well, I guess we'll find out after this.
It's his birthday today, and I only remember because my house number is his birthday. It's also my cousin Robert and his wife Amber's anniversary. Because when they said, when should we get married? I was like, 8/21. Of course.
Didn't you try and fucking pull that too?
I tried to.
Yeah.
But you know what? I still pulled it off because we got 5/8/21. I still got my 8/21 in there. Have you had the misfortune to watch any of the DNC?
Oh, you mean with Lil Jon and all that? I've seen clips. That's all I've seen.
No, I was talking about when Biden said that the Roe v. Wade decision left women without electricity.
If they're left without electricity, they're just not paying their fucking bill.
he tried to say electoral, but he kept saying electricity. He had an argument with the teleprompter. He's like, "Oh yeah, this Roe v. Wade decision leaves women without electricity."
The leader of the free world, everybody. We're living in a fucking cartoon. It's fucking fairyland over here, playing fucking Candyland.
Well, in 2016, when Trump ran for president, I told Dave, I was like, dude, we are literally in idiocracy. And it's just gotten sillier since then. The people running stuff and running for stuff are just insane. It really is idiocracy. And then Trump had a rally and he had Hulk Hogan on as a speaker. And Hulk Hogan rips his shirt off. I'm like, yeah, this literally happened in the freaking movie.
Yeah, we're just missing all the Crocs because they're all at Walmart.
Yeah.
Shout out Crocs, I guess.
I'm gathering there's an Idiocracy movie.
Yeah, you should watch it.
It was done by Mike Judge, I believe, the creator of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh.
And
that's why I've never seen it, because I don't really like Beavis and Butthead.
yeah, you might like the movie Idiocracy. I'll have to let you borrow it because I actually bought one. It happens in the future. This guy thaws out or wakes up or whatever, and it is today's society. It's wild, but you watch it and you're like, that's actually happening right now. And it's an old movie.
It's so true. It's fucking scary how true it is. The only part that's like actually not believable is him getting out of jail that quickly. Because as much money as they get out of people for them being in jail and their court costs, they aren't letting them out that easy.
Right.
Unless they just plan on arresting them again.
Yeah. The first time I watched that movie, the world was kind of normal.
Not anymore.
I was like, that's not going to happen. And then Trump ran for president. And I was like, this is crazy. And now this is all happening.
Yeah, the world is definitely topsy-turvy.
True.
So, Ma, you got any plans for anything big in the next year or so?
Another redo of my kitchen, the other half of my kitchen.
Oh, the north end
Yeah,
of it?
the north wall on my kitchen. All those cabinets are old, so I'm going to have the cabinets taken down, either repaired or whatever, and then that really horrible counter that I keep covered up with all of that junk.
You're going to put a new counter up there so you can cover it with junk?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, then she'll cover one of the old counters with junk and use the new one. Just rotating.
I don't have any other counters.
Oh, you don't?
No. I have a really small kitchen.
I know. I think I've only ever been in your kitchen once. I don't remember
Well,
it
you'll
that
have to
well.
come and see the new one.
I think it's actually a big kitchen. It's just,
Not
full.
laid out well.
well, there is no way other than the way it's laid out to lay it out. But, like, my kitchen is a small kitchen, and I think I actually have more counter space.
You do.
So,
Yeah. Right now I have a bunch of produce on my one counter, so I'm down to this much counter space because I've got all of that stuff, all of the garden stuff on the counter.
Got a small flat rate box worth of counter space.
Teeny tiny, yes. I need to find that old Parcheesi board and use it on top of the stove so I've got some more room for to put stuff.
so Colton, when are you going to go across the street and finally talk to that girl?
when I can do it and not look like a fucking creep, which is probably never. If your dog wouldn't maul her, it could be like a cute... I could throw a fucking ball over there or some dumb shit and have a reason to go over there. But I'm pretty sure your dog would, like, eat her finger, and I don't think I have a chance at that point.
You could try to put him on a leash and take him for a walk, but I don't think he
You
he
can't
would
just
bite
walk
her.
over and say hello.
He was thinking about it tonight.
Yeah, but tonight wouldn't have gone well.
Well, no, you need to get some sleep.
I know, I need to get some sleep.
Yeah, he first got here.
You need to get some sleep before you go trying to make time with the neighbor lady.
I don't think there's ever going to be time with the neighbor lady. The neighbor lady's like a 18 out of 10. Even if I was a 9, I'm still not there.
Bulk up your confidence, get some sleep, and go talk to the neighbor lady.
Yeah.
If she ever listens to this podcast all the way through, she's gonna be like, "Nope."
Yeah, no, if she ever listens to like half of our episodes, any of the half where we talk about, you know, me thinking that she's really attractive, there's like zero shot. It would have to be like, I'd have to be dating her for a few months. And even then, I still think it'd be creepy.
Probably, yeah, yeah. She'd be like, "You said what? When?"
Yeah. That was 2 months before we met. Yeah, I know. Isn't that so sweet? No, here's a TRO.
So, now that you've got a pending layoff, what are your plans?
Well, I think I might just be a bum for a couple weeks and collect unemployment.
Is it going to pay the bills?
I mean, I make $800 a week now. Even if I got 60% of that, it would pay the bills. My bills are dick.
Well, true, but
That, and I have 2 paychecks this week from last week and next week from this week. Still coming. So I have enough to get me through finding a job, which I don't think will be too hard.
have you thought about applying at North Star or their affiliates?
No, I've honestly thought about fucking applying at Riley's though again. God damn it. Fucking saying the name.
You can say it, it don't matter. But
The only thing is, I wouldn't be able to come in with the same kind of position as the last time. I'd have to be an engineer, because that's like the only thing that I'm good at, and the rest of it I get bored with and I don't put effort into.
yeah, our engineer today tried to give me a task. I told him I don't have time for that.
Well, that's because he needs another engineer, but
No, he needed a part fitter.
he might not need another engineer if some circumstances were different.
Well, we've had a problem with a specific part for, I don't know, years.
I was going to say, there were a couple parts that you had
Years.
problems with for years when I worked there.
I finally have. I met my wit's end. I was like, "Psst."
Well, you've only been trying to get him to fix. There were like 4 or 5 that you'd been trying to get him to fix for years when I worked there.
Yeah.
3, 4 years ago.
They finally got bad enough that he realized, holy shit, these are actually junk.
He was saying that when I worked there.
I know. And
Had me pull a whole shitload of stock off the shelf.
yeah. So, yeah, he finally has realized, all right, there is a problem. It's instead of just measuring shit and going, oh, it's within spec. If it's within spec, why doesn't it fit? You know, he finally was like, oh yeah, these.
Oh, it's within spec, but it doesn't fit.
So, out of the 100 parts we're supposed to build, we're only able to build 40 because I'm not going to let my guy stand over there and waste a bunch of time. By the time we build the stuff that we're supposed to build, we'd have more money in it, labor wise, than we have profit. It would just it'd be a waste. He finally has come around, but now he's got no solution. My solution is scrap everything they sent us and make them build us new, and make them fit it before they send it to us.
That was your solution 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Seems like there's not a lot of problem solving going on.
What the hell do I know?
Seems like there's not a whole lot of problem solving. There's a whole lot of problem identifying.
Yeah.
I know there's a psychological term for it. I can't right off the top of my head remember what it is. But when you're that far down into it, you see that there's a problem and you see the solution, but you're determined to see it through because you've already started and you're already that far down in it. So you just have to bully your head down and keep going.
6 or 7 years of having the same issue, you'd think that there's no that far down. You would have reached that point already.
We went from being the build department to the make it work department. I shit you not. I'm told all the time, just make it work.
I mean, there has to be some of that in any assembly that has engineering behind it. But at the same time, if there is we made it work for 50 out of 500, there has to be a tolerance for how much can we tolerate having to make it work and how much can we tolerate before we need to redesign.
What I don't get is, all right, we are reproducing stuff that was made 60 plus years ago.
Yeah, why wouldn't you improve on it instead of just making replicas?
Well, 60 plus years ago, the stuff was made in the United States, and it was assembled at a factory, and ta-da, it worked. It worked fine. Now we're outsourcing everything to Taiwan, and I understand why. It's cheaper, whatever. But why can't they make it work so we can just put it together?
I was going to say, they have fucking screwdrivers in Taiwan.
Sometimes I wonder. I really do.
If they fucking don't, I don't know how they build anything on a normal basis. Everything's just a fucking socket head cap screw, apparently. Gotta have an Allen key set just laying around anywhere you go.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, because go in and tell them, hey, have these sent over to us as an assembly, so all the bullshit's already taken care of. This part fits this part. Here you go. It comes in a bag. There's 2 pieces ready to rock. No, can't do that. Which is fucking asinine to me.
Hey man, you're preaching to the engineering choir.
You know how I feel about engineers.
Well, and it's because of shit like that. That's the problem. It took me until about 3 months ago at my current, soon-to-be former job to get everyone to realize that I'm not one of those engineers. Bring me your problem, I'll get it updated. Because they would have, oh, well, the last 5 years we've just been fixing this on the machines and the red lines haven't been getting updated in the model. And I'm like, that's stupid. Why would we? It cost them 3 hours of labor when it could cost us an extra $5 in machining or lasering.
Yeah. Yeah, we're dealing with this shit fucking years. Oh, yeah. But at least he finally has accepted, okay, there's actually something wrong. And he got build times for the last 4 or 5 years. And so it went all the way back to when Dave was building them. And initially, the parts were a lot better than they were now. So the time has almost tripled what it takes to build the stuff than what it was 4 years ago. It's almost tripled. Every batch of parts we've gotten has been worse, and we've just been dealing with it. Oh, just make it work. Just make it work. Just make it work.
Your cost accountant has to be ripping his hair out.
What's messed up is our CFO is also our CEO, and he's Jewish by choice because Judaism doesn't make you feel guilty for being wealthy.
Dude, that guy will spend 6 months sourcing parts, but won't make him fix the parts that you guys are getting so you don't have to spend an hour making it work. That doesn't make sense in my mind.
But he'll come to me and be like, why did this take so long? Because the parts are junk. Why are the parts junk? I don't know. I've taken it to the engineer, and he tells me they're fine, but they don't fucking fit.
How do you not have an ulcer?
Huh?
How do you not
He
have
has
an
headaches.
ulcer?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's because of stress. Red basket bobber doctor.
Yeah, he's about as much of an engineer as he is a doctor. About as much as he is a tattoo artist, too. The guy has 100 hats. They're all just 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter in size. There's no knowledge in any of them. Even the Glock hat.
That Glock thing that you sent me, that was pretty funny. that one meme that I sent you with the micrometers. As soon as I saw that,
Dude, I felt that in my soul.
I saw that, and it made me think of a couple of our customers. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, we've had a customer send back parts. They're threaded on the wrong side. And no, the end user was a retard. And yes, leave that in. Because
I didn't say
they
that.
didn't actually try to install it. They just looked at it and went, that's not right.
Of course they did.
And our customer does a lot of online sales, and they want all 5-star reviews. So the minute they got a customer complaint, they packed up every one of these pieces and sent them back to us. These are wrong. No, you had one customer that is a moron. That's all it was. You had one customer that is an absolute fucking moron. Doesn't know what they're doing. Get shit like that all the time, though.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I'll have people bring me parts or whatever. I had one of the guys in the shop bring me a part. Had me order the same part. He needed more of them. I order the same part. They come in, then he brings them to me and tells me that I'm an idiot and I ordered the wrong thing. To which I still had the part he gave me, and I gave it to him. And he goes, "Well, that's wrong too." I go, "That's the part you fucking gave me." Who's the fucking idiot here? I'd like I don't have time to come out and check every piece of thing that you say that you need to make sure that it's the correct thing. If you bring me something and say you need more of that, I'm just gonna order that.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's like McMaster shit, so it's easy to return. But either way, it's a waste of fucking time.
I love ordering from McMaster. It's next day. That stuff's there the next
Yeah, it is
morning.
when you're not on hold.
What do you mean not on hold?
On hold.
Oh, because
Yeah.
there's no money in the account.
Or you owe them $200,000.
Oh! I order stuff on my own personal debit card, so I know there's money there. I get the stuff the next day. Excuse me. We're not including this too much, are we, Ma?
It's all right.
She
I
looks
like-
like she's just having fun listening.
I like listening. It's
That's fine. I like watching.
Wait until this comes out and you listen to it and you hear your own voice. You're gonna be like, ugh.
I've heard my own voice. You're right.
Dude, it doesn't even faze me anymore.
Not me either anymore. It used to.
I was gonna say the first like 2 that we did, we'd go to listen back to them, and we'd both be sitting here like,
Yeah, it gave me like this creepy crawly feel. Like, oh, I don't like that at all. Now I don't mind it so much. I still don't. I wouldn't voluntarily put it on and listen to it just to hear my own voice, but hearing my own voice doesn't bother me. I think the stuff we talk about, even though it might be for a niche audience, is fun, and listening to it again when we're done is, I don't know, I get more out of it when I listen to it. Listen back to it.
You listen to the playback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to the playback. I get more out of it. I don't know, I glean more.
you gleam more.
Glean as in harvest. I collect. Come on, you're college educated. You should know this shit.
As he rolls his eyes.
Yeah, I'm engineering college educated.
Not English.
You never had to write a paper?
I had to take 2 years of
Oh, he
college
wrote
English.
a beautiful paper.
Oh God, she doesn't want to read my paper.
Oh, man. He wrote...
I actually still have that paper. I have a copy of it on my Google Drive.
What was this paper about?
About how Planned Parenthood did a bunch of wrongdoings and tried to eliminate the black race.
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah.
It's a 12-page paper.
12 pages?
It was my final research paper for my government class,
He comes
which
over,
I got like a 99 on.
he comes over here. He's like, I got to write a paper. I don't know what to do. And I was like, Margaret Sanger.
Found a lot of proof. Also
Oh.
had a lot of people tell me that was all bullshit. I'm like, well, I saw the proof.
The proof is in the footnotes. You really want to double check my work? Here
Yeah,
you
that
go.
ain't no shit.
Oh, they injected black people with syphilis in the 50s, and if I had to write a paper now, it would be on Anthony Fauci and what he did during AIDS, and what he did to beagle puppies for scientific research. Oh yeah, because during the 80s AIDS epidemic, he was going to Chicago, Detroit, New York, and using experimental AIDS vaccines and treatments on orphans without a supervisor. He killed a crap ton of crack babies that were born with AIDS. He killed a shit ton of them.
How did he sweep that under the rug?
Well, why would the government talk about it? He worked for them. He was the highest paid government official. He made more than the President of the United States. He made more than anybody. Why would they tell on themselves?
Point. Yeah.
Up until he retired, he was the highest paid government official. Yeah, he was going to foster homes and orphanages and injecting these young AIDS patients with experimental vaccines, quote unquote vaccines, and treatments, and they were dying in mass numbers. And it didn't matter because they didn't have parents. So, no big deal. And then in the early 90s, I believe it was, somebody will fact check me, early 90s, I believe it was, he wanted to find out the effect of sand flies or sand fleas on dogs. So he was taking these hounds, big floppy-eared hounds, and putting their heads in a net and filling it with these sand fleas until these sand fleas ate the ears off the dogs and the dogs died.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man's inhumanity to man and animal.
And then
What an
we get
awful
hit
thing.
with this pandemic, and he says, wear a mask 6 feet apart, take the vaccine. And the 6 feet apart was bullshit. He had to admit that in front of Congress. The mask didn't work. He had to admit that in front of Congress. And the vaccine's fucking killing people. So, just like a repeat of the fucking 80s. And being a child of the 80s, I remember AIDS. AIDS was fucking scary because they told you you could get it off a toilet seat, you could get it off a doorknob.
Fucking, what was it, grid or GERD? It was called something before AIDS. Grid or GERD, one of the two.
That I don't know. I only knew it as HIV/AIDS.
I believe it was grid.
But yeah, I remember the hype. It was scary as shit. You know, you can get it on anything. And the guy who invented the paper toilet seat cover, still to this day, is the most majestic, ingenious man ever. Because we're still using them.
Yeah, it was grid, gay-related immune deficiency.
Yeah, they told us that it came from pilots from the United States that were in other countries having sex with green monkeys. Or eating
Green
meat.
monkeys?
Yes, green monkeys.
I need a green monkey, dude.
They were either having sex with or eating the meat of green monkeys. Because green monkeys supposedly are the only animal that's immune to HIV. So they were either eating it or having sex with it. And then they came back to the United States and started having sex with other gay men in Southern California. And that's how AIDS spread.
I thought it was Florida.
No, Southern California.
Oh.
Same place the crack epidemic started, which was also caused by our government. Yeah. I personally think it was lab created and it was released by the government, just like the pandemic and this COVID bullshit. I believe that it was done on purpose to see what would happen. Oh, we'll just do a social study on what happens when we release this shit. And they probably, introduced it in the gay community first. And Southern California was full of that shit in the 80s. Still is.
Still really surprising that they didn't introduce it into the black community first, as much as they were trying to eradicate the blacks.
I think this was probably not directed at an ethnic, but more of a social, economic. No, that's really not a word, but you know what I'm saying. They're aimed at a certain group,
Right.
And I think that it was more aimed at that demographic.
Social, economic.
Yeah. Yeah. But I remember that shit. The Ryan White story. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. He got it from a blood transfusion.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he was hemophiliac.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild story. That kid didn't deserve that.
Not at all.
And I think Dr. Fauci is to fucking blame. I think that was intentional. I think all of it was intentional. I think this pandemic that we just went through, I think AIDS that we just went through, I think it was all intentional. As an experiment. Just like the syphilis injections from the 50s. I think it was all intentional. We're simply subjects. We are cattle on the farm.
Tax cattle.
Yep. Tax cattle is exactly what we are. Yeah. Somebody asked me today, why is our income taxed so hard, but passive income isn't?
What do you mean?
Passive income. If you own like 3 or 4 rental properties, your rental property income is taxed at a lower rate than your actual income taxes are. Your 9 to 5 job,
Probably because they figure it'll put people under more stress. They'll have more health problems. They'll work harder for more money.
The reality is your income tax is taxed heavier than your passive income is, because where's the bigger farm? People who have a job.
Yeah, there's not that many people that own rental properties and, have big enough investments to actually make them...
Yeah, the cattle farm is bigger of people who have a fucking job. The people who have rental properties and shit, that's a pretty small number. Becoming even smaller now that BlackRock and all them are buying up single-family homes as rentals. So your biggest income, if you're the government, is everybody's income. Everybody that has a regular job, we're going to tax the shit out of them. And we're going to make the people that have the passive income feel like they're actually doing something by taxing them a little bit less on that passive income. But we're going to nail them hard on their regular income.
Yeah, and if you're self-employed, hold on to your short.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, you can pay your own Social Security if you want to pay into that at all. Whew.
At least you have the option.
You don't really.
Yeah, you don't really.
You have to underreport your income in order to not pay Social Security. And underreport your income for 2 years, and you're screwed. They're going to find out, and they're going to audit you.
And then they nail you for fraud.
Yep.
So you're better off to just pay it.
Unless you can, if you, unless you can prove that you're part of clergy, which is, I thought about this when I had the shop. If I handed out religious pamphlets and preached to everybody that came into the shop when I fixed their car, I could have opted out of Social Security. Just become an ordained minister. With every invoice, they get a pamphlet.
It makes me wonder if some of the businesses that, the voicemail, when you call in and you get their voicemail,
Yeah.
and they tell you to have a blessed day. I don't mind the message.
Right.
I don't mind the message. But I just wonder if that's part of the reason why they're telling you to have a blessed day, so they can opt out of something else.
There's always a double reason.
If there was a way that easy, oh man, I would tell my boss to have a blessed day every day.
I worked for a company years ago, and their company logo, their company motto, was actually a scripture.
Yeah.
And he was the hardest boss I've ever worked for. He was underhanded. Specifically to me, he was underhanded.
Specifically to you?
Yeah. He didn't like the fact that I talked, that I, spoke. So he would put me out in the warehouse without anybody else around, so I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. Punished me, told me I couldn't talk to anybody. He wasn't there at 3:00 when everybody was going, "Tell us a story, please tell us a story. We're so bored." So I told him a story, and he would come by and listen to me talk, and the next day I'd be out in the warehouse because I was talking too much. My hands weren't moving fast enough. If you'd stop talking, you'd work faster. Not really. Not really.
Oh. Well, you got any closing topics? That was a really quick hour.
That was already an hour?
59 minutes, 25 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. It's wild.
Time flies when your mommy's here.
God, no wonder the last 12 years have gone by so fucking slow. Just looking for a way out at this point. I feel like I'm fucking 40.
Oh, no, you don't. I've seen you walk. You don't walk like I do.
No, I probably walk fucking worse some days. You should see me when I get out of bed. I feel like a 86 Buick.
It's because you weigh an 86 Buick.
Fuck you.
Other than finding out if people actually want us to keep the regular,
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard either. But, I mean, if nobody wants us to keep that one, we can always run this one on that other account so that it goes to all the streaming services. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna run it with just this one. Oh, God. And if there's demand for the other one from our 24 followers,
right?
then we can bring it back. Otherwise, we get a lot more traction on these ones anyways.
Yeah. Well, we can still do topics on here, too.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, tonight when you go to bed, remember, Ruby Ridge could be your house next. Arm yourselves.
This guy's trying to start an insurrection.
No. Maybe a revolt, but not an insurrection.
It's not that much different.
Yeah, there is. One's constitutional. The other one's also constitutional.
Oh, crap. All right, well, I'm not going to say my catchphrase because your mom's on
I'll just
the
say
pod.
it. Go for it.
All right, if you didn't like the episode, eat a dick.
Yeah, and I'm drunk a lot, so I'm wrong a lot.
Hit us up in the email at mikesharderpodcast@gmail.com. We never get any emails. You guys make me cry.
If you want to say hey to my mom, send us an email. I'll pass it along.
Or comment, like, subscribe, whatever.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on, Mom.
Oh, you're welcome,
this was a
sweetheart.
pleasure.
Yeah, it's been fun. I think this might have been the most tame we've been.
Probably. I would have been a lot better had I slept last night.
All right, y'all.
Have
Till
a good
next
one.
time.
Bye.